Alrighty. I think we are about ready to get started. I apologize beforehand tonight if I mumble a bit more than usual. I have a sore on the left side of my tongue. It's making talking a little uncomfortable, but not enough to not have to stream tonight. Let me know if audio and video is fine. Testing some tweaked settings. So, the first thing I want to go over tonight is something we did last time. Turn this music down slightly. Something we did last time with the, hello, new addict. Well, I'm glad you finally made it. Good to have you. So one thing we did last time was, in order to make these pillars over here into seats, because I wanted them to be rock seats around a camp instead of, music's a little loud, alright. Instead of embedding... Okay, here's what we did before. We took a stool, human citizen stool, and we made it small enough so that it could be hidden inside these rocks and all that sort of thing. Just so people could sit on it, and these would basically function like chairs. But because the problem is you can't assign an action to this type of object. Something I've mentioned before and I completely forgot about, the user Eldarth actually pointed out and helped correct me. You can change the root template of an object to make it look like something else, and most of the time retain the behavior of the original object. So what I did was I took the stools and I changed the root template to the rocks I wanted. And as you can see, it still has the actions sit. So I'm going to see if that actually worked, because that would save me a lot of time in the future. Well, new addict, I have recorded all my streams. I'm sure if you watch the first one at least, it's only an hour long, tells you how to do all the basics. That's most likely enough to get you started. Not enough space. Why does this say not enough space? Well, that's interesting. Okay. Let's see why that is. Let's make sure it's set to... Oh, it doesn't have the same tags as the stool. That's interesting. You couldn't load... let's see... texture painting, I couldn't figure out how to get the texture. I couldn't load it so I could use it with the terrain brush. I will go after that once I fix the stool problem. And by stool, I mean the chair, not the word for poop. Anyway. So, let's see here. Walk through might be the one we need. Let's see if that does it. Aha, there we go. So, these objects still count as solids because they are using the template from this pillar object. Chairs, by default, don't have collision, so you can sit on them more easily. So, that looks like it's not quite high enough. Maybe it should be fine. So what I'm going to do for all of these is enable walkthrough. And walkthrough. I think that needs to be slightly higher. This needs to be slightly higher. Quite correct, Calorie. Nothing a little testing can't fix. Why are your feet in the ground, dude? I don't like that. Oh, you're stuck on the chair. Yeah, the rock is a little small. What I'm going to do is raise this one ever so slightly. I'm going to make this one a bit bigger. Let's bring it up to 0.08. Let's see if that does it. And don't be afraid to nitpick and spend a little more time on these kind of mini projects, because I'm going to be copying these rock stools elsewhere on the map. So what you do now will just save you time in the immediate future. Very slightly floating, but that should be pretty good. How about you? Oh, I don't know what's going on there. Huh. Okay. Why? That's very strange. Oh, I think I know what it is. It's because the center of the object is right here, so it's not doing it from the top. I don't think that one's going to work, so I'm going to delete that one. I will copy this one. Let's bring it up to 0.9. There we go. Copy. Paste. Oh, and if you're wondering why the arrows are here, if you go to View, Gizmos, it shows you which way various objects are facing. So since these are chairs, they will show you which way the people will face. Where is the action? Why is the action? Oh, there it is. Sit. Why is there no gizmo for this? That's very interesting. Oh, have you fiddled with creating items in the editor? I have unique items with a bunches of flavor text. Yes, so what you can do is you can make the items as a separate project, make it an add-on, and make that your item project, so to speak. It'd be kind of a pain in the butt to swap between them, but any add-ons are in GM mode in whatever adventure you're playing. So if you want things to be global for whatever campaign, then you're going to have to make it a separate add-on project instead of a specific adventure. Can't use. That's very odd. Try this again. Why? Ah. The manual way to get around saving characters would be to, I guess, record their stats, have them send you a screenshot or something at the end of an adventure, and then you can manually set things up the next time you start an adventure. And I'm glad you like the rock chairs. You're welcome to use any ideas you see. The whole thing with creative inspiration. I'm very curious why this rock works, but the other one does not. I might have to stick with the stool idea. I haven't actually started playing Divinity 2 yet. I've fiddled with it a bit, but most of my time has been in the editor, specifically. So I can sit on this object, but I can't sit on that one. That's very strange. If you notice, this one doesn't have a gizmo arrow attached to it. Yeah, totally. I don't know what the deal is. Do I need to redo the sit option, maybe? Yeah, I think it's a bug. Interesting. That sounds about right, Calorie. It's pretty much the same as me. Alright, I'm gonna test something. I'm going to save this. So call it rock stool. Rock stool 1. Make sure everything looks good. Scale. Create. This is set to 0.1. Rock stool. It is. What? How does that not work? I don't understand. It's created directly from a blueprint. Wow. Alright, I'm testing something. I'm going to reload the level. I don't understand. No, none of these can be used. Well, that's butts. Wow, it broke all of them. Huh, I'm gonna have to play with that more sometime. I think for now I'm just going to keep doing what I was doing. I will copy these. Ripperoni rock stool. Oh well, this works just as well. Oops. So yeah, I essentially cheated and hid the stools inside the rocks. Works just as well, I suppose. Alright. When creating an NPC in the editor, is their in-game portrait defined by their template, or does it actually change? So, the portrait generation is actually broken right now. It will be fixed in a future patch once they're happy with where their game is. The way portrait generation works is, let me paste something here. Let's go necro. So I made this Necromancer Adept NPC. The icon is what the actual NPC's portrait is. So if I do this creature and I click on it, you can see the icon has this GUID. It's a really long ID. That is generated by the trigger that's under portrait generation trigger, icon human male. There is a level, let me show you. It's kind of a long explanation. Load level. You have to manually add this to your project later. It's called Photo Booth. It is in the system file. It's called NPC Portrait System, whatever. I decided to name it Photo Booth. And the photo booth has a bunch of triggers and objects already established. This is what the main game uses for their portraits. As you can see, they've got a bunch of cameras and lighting and backgrounds. So characters are teleported here. They're placed. This is their background, and then it kind of zooms in and it creates a portrait for you. So what is put here under portrait will determine which trigger is used to generate their portrait. Where is it? Portrait. So this is icon human female. Yeah, it's an actual photo booth. So icon portrait female would probably be, looks like elves. Looks like here. So females are placed here and they have these portraits. So any NPC with this trigger will have the similar thing. But the problem is when you go to projects render character portraits, it's not currently working. It's broken. That will work later. So when you're done making NPCs, all you'll need to do is go to project settings, general, you will choose your photo booth level, and then you'll do render character portraits, and it'll set things up. Hello, fairly sad panda. Welcome to the awesome but tiny viewership. You like the VODs? Well, there will be a VOD after this one. If you hate me and don't want to watch live, you know, I totally understand. I'm just kidding. Alright, let's go back to our camp. Definitely. Too lazy to grind away in the editor. Well, I'm surprised you like the VODs. So watching peeps is easier. Ha! That makes sense. Okay, I think this area is pretty much done. I'm pretty happy with how this looks. Players are going to start kind of along here. It looks kind of bare in these areas, but that's mostly because it's a desert, and deserts are pretty bare. Thanks, New Addict. I appreciate it. Depending on what Larian decides to do with their tutorial videos, I might be making my own smaller, digestible ones to go over things like terrain and NPCs and instance painting and all that kind of stuff. I'll fill in the gaps on what they decide, well, anything they missed. Okay, so this is pretty much done. This is going to be an orc outpost. The players will have all sorts of things they can do here, people they can talk to, maybe they'll be attacked. Oh, these things. These things are fantastic. They're the lizard pack rhino base NPC. I copied them and made it into a kind of like a tribe's, you know, beast of burden thing. And I wanted this whole place to look very temporary, which I think we did pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and call this done. This is also one of my first attempts into doing a level that slightly incorporates multi-levels a bit more. Might be a good idea to export these to YouTube. Yeah, that's true, Calorie. Fairly Sad Panda, they have said that custom music and sounds aren't available right now, but they will add it later. They're focusing a lot more on the main game before they do any patches for the editor and things. So it's something to look forward to. It kind of sucks now, but I remain hopeful. So one thing I want to show you guys is the place where my players are going to start. Not quite done yet. I need to do the finishing touches. So my players are going to start here, which is Sheog, and in the Might and Magic universe, it's essentially hell. The demons have a mixture of underground, dark, rock, and volcanic activity, and remnants of a very old empire. So I kind of mixed it up. Let's change the lighting of it, shall we? I'll show you what it will actually look like in game. Nope. Where's that second group of lava? Aha. This one. This is totally based off of the Might and Magic stuff. This is Heroes of Might and Magic. It's the world of Ashan, not the actual Might and Magic games. I was hoping that the engine becomes fairly exposed enough that larger mod teams can form to make big adventures. That is going to be fantastic. Honestly, just seeing people make mini adventures now is really promising. I really hope it gets popular. Obviously, it won't get to the level of Skyrim modding or anything, but, you know, people making cool little modules and stuff will be pretty great. So the players are going to start in here, in these cages. They're going to have to figure out how to break out. I placed some very key items around. There's a little knife on this altar. They can search the pile of bodies here for some other ramshackle weapons. Yeah, you never know. An 11 by 7 map. Man, if you're new to building, don't start on gigantic maps. It's going to be very challenging. Having small victories will keep your drive going. I mean, if you want to, that's totally fine. Just don't burn yourself out, is all I'm saying. So yeah, so after they break out of their cells, they're going to be able to look around the room, figure things out. I'm going to have some extra creatures in these cages for them to talk to and maybe help break out. They'll have to avoid a patrol here, and then they'll go across the way, and there's all sorts of loot and treasure in all these chests and things. So if they want some very starter magic items, this is the place to go. Or they might decide they don't want to mess around, they want to get out as soon as possible. And I thought this would be a nice vista. It's kind of a cool lava canyon of sorts. It looks very cool. I'm very happy with how this turned out. Oh, Terrain Painter. I totally forgot to show that to you. Alright, so, as you can see, there's a lot of different layers of terrain on this map. Let's open a new map to show you how it works. Mace of Smiting plus 9,000. Yes, exactly. New level. Empty. Alright, what else do I need to do? I've made an elven outpost, I've made a tribe camp, I've made a city, Silver Cities place. I guess I could make a floating Silver Cities city? That might work. I haven't made a Dark Elf place yet. That could be interesting. I don't know why there are people floating above the dungeon. They generally drop once you begin testing. Yeah. Anyway. Alright, whatever. Let's do a Dark Elf. Dark Elf Village. A floating city? Alright, what do you guys think? An underground Dark Elf village or a floating city? I'm pretty sure I know which one people are going to vote for. Dark Elves are pretty cool. They worship the dragon goddess of darkness. Surprise, surprise. Floating city. Dark Elf or Drow? They are Dark Elves, not Drow. This is the Ashan setting. Alright, floating city. Silver Cities. I'll just call it floating city. Underground Dark Elves. Ah. Let's start with Floating City. We'll see how that goes. The Dark Elves will be pretty quick. That area I just showed you with the whole hell dimension, the prison cells and stuff, that took me about 4 hours. So once you get to figure out where things are, you can build things pretty quickly. Alright, let's change the atmosphere to off. Wait for the lighting to stabilize. Alright, so this is how you do terrain. We'll do a starter course. You want to pin this so it stays up. I'm going to click the Create New button. It's got the little plus symbol. Create New. I'm going to go one by one because I like to resize as I go instead of making it a certain size. Terrain material. So since this is going to be a floating city, I want the base material to be something rocky. So you're going to go to your resource manager. Make sure you have all categories selected. Doesn't really matter. I like to just do the material resource. What do I want the base material to be? Some sort of rock? Maybe a slate? Rock, lava, rock green. Because I'm going to add sand and things on top of it. Rock cave, maybe. We can always change it later. Let's just do rock cave. So when you have the base material you want your terrain to be made out of, click the green arrow, and then you will assign it. Rock slate B. Rock slate A. Rock slate rubble. Rock slate B. That one. That's... I don't think that's right. For some reason, some of these terrains... I know before when I said you have to choose one that starts with TR because it's the terrain type, but some of them paint in giant squares. Not really sure why that happens. I'm gonna do this one. Okay. That looks... Let's move this back over here. That looks very rocky. And very repetitive. I guess all terrain is repetitive. Let's see if we can... Let's see what A looks like. Bloop. I think I like that one a bit better. Alright, now for painting terrain. So, same thing again. You're going to find the terrain that you want. Let's say I want some sand. I want some sand, wavy, large. And I also want sand, smooth. Then you click terrain. Make sure you have, this is your terrain object. You want to choose which terrain you want to add to the object, and you click the plus button. Yes. And then you have added it to your terrain object. Out of interest, how easy should it be to disentangle adventure modes from just the maps that might go into GM mode? There is actually a tutorial for that already. It's not too hard. It's a little complicated, but if you follow the tutorial, it should work for you just fine. You are most welcome, new addict. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, for the longest time, I was struggling with trying to get terrain assigned because I wasn't selecting the terrain object. Like, I was here, and I had my sand, and I'm like, plus button. Plus button. Why isn't it working? But you have to have your terrain selected. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay. And to get this to go away. So I'm going to cover pretty much all of this in sand. I know you're asking, why didn't you just make the base one as sand? Because the layer your terrains are in is important. If I have grass as my base and I start painting dirt on top of it, it'll look like the dirt is on top of the grass, not that the grass has stopped growing in that area. It looks very different, so you want things to be natural. Because right now it looks like the sand is on top of the rock. You don't want it to look like the rock is sitting on top of the sand. So I'm going to cover this whole thing in sand. Yeah, right now I'm just making maps to kind of publish and let people use how you want. I already have 3 of my maps on the workshop. Maybe 4. I will post the 2 new ones I've made, definitely. Oh, I need to make interiors too. I totally forgot. I don't have any interior maps. Oh. I should probably do that, shouldn't I? Man. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this floating city first. I think I have an idea. Yeah, Dark Elf Cave Town would be an interior, technically. I don't have any inns or, you know, some of the larger, higher-end houses that people could break into. Or, I don't know, the castle for the capital city. Anyway. Okay, so let's hide terrain for now. That's entrances, we don't want that. Come on, toolset. Thank you. The entirety of Waterdeep or Neverwinter. Oh my goodness. Well, here's my thought process with the floating city. I definitely do want waterfalls. That's going to be absolutely gorgeous because that's definitely what the floating cities look like. Let me pull up a picture so you can see what my motivation is here. The Heroes of Might and Magic Silver Cities are very reminiscent of... They're just giant wizard towns, this sort of thing. They have gorgeous waterfalls and giant walkways. They're very pretty. So that's kind of what I'm going to be going for. Don't want any prefabs. I'm going to hide that. Not yet, anyway. Rocky Rodent Slate Big. So the only problem with doing a floating style object is that you can't paint terrain on them, which is kind of a bummer. I don't believe there's a way I can make the terrain actually look like it's floating. No, there's not. Actually, you know what? I totally lied. There's definitely a way to do that. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to have 2 terrain objects. So I'm going to name this Desert Base. Create new object. Please select terrain material. I'm going to do slate. Alright, we now have 2 terrain objects. And what that means is we can do this. I'm going to name this City. Failed to rename it. Why? Why did you fail to rename it? Oh well. Ah! 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 Yes, I have done water. I cover that in, I think, my first one. I'll show you how to do water in a bit. So, we have two terrain objects. What that means is, both of these are going to be walkable, but the players will only have access to this top one because that's where they're going to be coming in from. And we can make this look like a city by, I believe... Oh, no, this won't work. What? Why is it doing both? Oh, that makes me so mad. Oh, that's just... That's butts. That's what that is. Oh my goodness, what's happening? No, no, no. Oh no, I'm breaking everything. Oh, okay. Hang on a second. I got this. You didn't see anything. Just hang on a second. Yeah, see, Panda, that's what I was going to do. I was going to do a not just prefab, so I was going to do floating buildings and the slates for floors and things like that. But the problem is, if you do objects as your floating city, you can't use the terrain tool. The terrain tool is a great way to make things look natural and more immersive. So I wanted to figure out if there was a way to get multi-layered terrain working. And I think I can. There's got to be a way to do that. Because I can raise this. This is going through both. Maybe it's because the terrain needs to be on top? Is that the problem? You know what I might do? I might create the city and then create the base, because let me just see if this works. So if I delete this object and I edit my my desert and make it all lumpy and stuff. This is just for testing purposes. And I create a new, do this, that, and then I raise it. Nope, wrong object. On selected terrain only. Ah, you might be right. Norden Tipwell? What a wonderful name. Edit selected terrain only. Is that what does it? Oh, you're wonderful. I thought there was an actual selection, not a different thing. Or what you just suggested. Ah, that just makes my life so much easier. Thank you for reminding me of that. Wonderful. Okay, so floating city is definitely a possibility. It's going to be interesting to try and get it to not look like a flat sheet of paper, but this is the challenge we face when creating things. Also, good evening, everyone. I think this is some of the most viewers we've ever had. I think the cap I've had is 15 at some point. But 9's good. You know, I'm not doing this for views. I'm doing this for fun. That's not true. I like having views. I mean, come on, I'm people. Raygear. Probably supposed to be Rhaegar, but you know. Hey, Caden, just wanted to say thanks for all the videos you've made and not throw as many things getting things look okay. Yeah. I'm glad they helped. You are most welcome. Floating arena. Yep. I think I've seen that one, actually. So, let's get started in this city. Rhaegar. I think if I get stumped again, I'll take a look at it. I'm more of the hands-on, flail about, figure things out the long way kind of person. Not exactly the most productive thing, but... Alright, so what I definitely want to do... General Kong 121, you're very welcome. And Hooler. It's very flattering. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hope I can continue to deliver helpful stuff. I am not going to be diving into triggers or anything like that anytime soon. How to get a set point for wandering NPC. Yes, I do know how to do that. I will show you. There is an official Larian tutorial on that. I will put it in the chat in just a moment. They're called spline patrols. If you want your NPCs to patrol on set points, that's how you do it. You know what? This isn't going to work because I'm just going to have weird sticky outputs. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the map smaller. Yes, Panda, that's exactly what I'm thinking. If I do the lower terrain, there's still going to be that flap paper-like lip, which is going to be much harder to hide than if I just surround this thing in cliffs, which would be totally perfect. And I don't even have to do cliffs, I can do walls. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide how big I want my city to be. The silver cities are very tower-based. Yep, just change the background to clouds and have a giant rock for people to fight on. Good stuff. Perfect. So, I want to have definitely stone. I don't like this song. I'm going to swap this song. Boosh. Alright. So, let's mess around with some walls here, shall we? Castle house. Come on, toolset. I believe in you. Don't crash, thank you. Okay, so this has interior, which is fine. It does not have interior. Oh, that's got a janky wall. How strange. I don't want city house because this... One thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep a specific aesthetic for each of the empires. The city house objects I have used for the empire. I have used the Renar stuff for the Haresh Necromancer nation. Yes, Ori and the Blind Forest. Beautiful game, beautiful soundtrack. Absolutely loved it. I promise I didn't cry. I mean, who does that? How do you increase the raised terrain brush size? So, when you have your terrain brush selected and you have your map, you're going to press either right square bracket or left square bracket. That's how you change the size. Alright, let's fiddle with this a bit, shall we? One thing I want to do is kind of do a couple base structures just to get a feel for how... I don't want this to be a full-on city. I want it to be kind of a... I don't know. It's hard to say. Not a giant empire this last city like the last one I made. That took me 3 days to make that map. A little tiring. Where's my rounded corner? Oh, there it is. Beautiful. Wizards do love their towers. Flip wall. Actually gonna do the sticky outfits, I think. Sorry if this isn't the most entertaining to start. It'll be more interesting once we get to work on the outside. I just noticed that my shadows are very dark, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go probe, light probe, place. Bring it up because it's supposed to be like a sun object. Make its radius nice and big. Boom. Shadows are much less dark. Perfect. Alright, so that's one base. I think I'm going to keep the complete one. Let's copy this. Maybe make something slightly bigger. Again, apologies if I'm mumbling. I have a sore on my tongue. It's very unpleasant. I had to learn this editor via osmosis. That's beautifully said. I've never actually done full-on video tutorials. I mean, I'm a tech writer, as that's my day job. But writing tutorials are my specialty. But doing video tutorials is very different. It's a little more respect for people who are more eloquent online. Oh, you can set it to global. I did not know that. Norton Tipwell with the save once again. Probe type. Distant. Whoa. Alright. Good man. I love it. Wonderful. Thank you. That's very helpful. Alright, so this is another base. Let's do a copy of this one. Norton Tipwell living up to his name. Excellent. You know what? I'm totally doing a statue to Lord Tipwell. It's gonna be a paladin guard in one of my cities. Actually, I think we could do a bit better than that. I'm gonna pull up a picture of a Silver City's city again. So I can get a feel for what they're supposed to look like. Huh. Okay, so it's mostly taller structures with square bases. I mean, this one's got a round base. Lots of separate islands, too. Very interesting. Huh. Okay, cool. Good to know. So let's make a medium-sized island where this structure is going to be. Okay, organizing this stuff is going to be interesting. So let's do another terrain object. Let's make this one a bit smaller. I think that will do. Let's make this one smaller even more so. All right. Gonna do this. Bring it up a bit. Bring this over here. So one thing I'm planning is to do floating buildings, indeed. One thing I'm planning is to do small bridges, kind of leading to leading between these islands. Weren't you going to bed, Caloray? It's 3 a.m. on a weekday. Oh. Need responsible adult bedtimes. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I blame my stream. I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Alright, let's do another terrain object. So it should be slightly bigger. Are you mostly just a builder, or do you plan to use these fancy maps in a campaign of yours as well? I am having my first session of my D&D... Oh, not actual D&D. My tabletop campaign is going to be tomorrow night. I'm very excited. So yes, I plan to use all these... I'm building these areas for my campaign, but I will share them with people as they want. I might stream some sessions. Depends on how comfortable my players are with that sort of thing. No, I want this big one to be over here. Let's do this one over this way. Our school still uses Windows XP. Oh man. I was a huge Windows XP fan, but I realized it was getting obsolete at a certain point. Good old Windows XP. The reason why I'm tilting these buildings slightly is because straight angles don't really exist in the universe. Well, in on the world naturally, so I'm just trying to make it look like it's been kind of made a bit more appropriately. I think I will do another building here. Perfect. Okay, so obviously these aren't going to be just copies of each other. I'm going to have different sized roofs and different heights. Like this building's probably going to have multiple levels. Yeah. The Masons were drunk or scared of heights. Well, if you're going to be building for the wizards of, you know, the Silver Cities, being afraid of heights isn't a really good idea. Okay. Now, here comes the interesting part. Let's get some bridges going. I may have to restart the engine. I've had it running for a few hours. What is up with this bridge? You see that? Why does it go so far to the ground? Gamer Tilt! Hey, you've helped me have a few epiphanies in the dev engine. Did you figure out how to restrain player camera movement yet? There's a tutorial for that. I don't know where it is specifically. Check the Larian official wiki. They've got some engine tutorials. Sequel Howler. Or Howler. Hope you have a nice evening. Thanks for hanging out. So I don't know off the top of my head, Gamer Tilt, but there is a tutorial for that. I'll see if I can find it in a bit. I don't think these bridges are going to work. Oh, maybe this one. Let's try that one. Huh, I could do these. Those look pretty good. I'd have to piece them together, but certainly an option. Harbor Bridge. Whoa. Oh, I like these. I like that one too. Oh, and it matches the... kind of matches the structures. Okay, not that one. That one's the wrong color. Let's see how this one works. Ah, see, it sticks out too much at the bottom. I don't like that. Let's see if they've got separate pieces. Let's bring this out a bit more. Oh, okay, so I can just kind of make them flat. Alright, that's certainly an option. Make everyone just have to teleport. Well, you know, that wouldn't be strange, considering this is a wizard city. Is that one higher? It is. I'm going to have to move this bit. It looks like that's probably the flattest edge I'm going to get. I don't want it to stick out too far under the map. I do want it to be a bit centered with the road here. What terrain is this? That's terrain 2. There we go. how did you guys end up running a campaign in the Heroes of Might and Magic setting? There's a lot of lore in the Heroes of Might and Magic universe that people don't normally keep an eye out. I made some PDF handouts with information about the gods, the societies of each empire, their leaders, what they value, day-to-day life, that sort of thing. And there's also a book called the Ashan Compendium, which is basically a setting source book, kind of very similar to like Forgotten Realms or Dragonlance. It has all of the information you want in there for running a campaign. It's one of my favorite universes, and I'm very excited to run another campaign in it. But yes, there's a lot of lore. Which is very exciting. I think I'm gonna do that. I've only played some of the really old Might and Magic games from like the 90s. I've played almost all of the Heroes of Might and Magic games. And I've liked pretty much all of them. Maybe not 7, but it wasn't awful. 5 and 6 are definitely my favorites. Okay, I think that's enough faffing with bridges for now. I feel like that's too wide. I want to do another bridge just to see if I can make it look a bit better. Oh yeah, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 is just... That's the game that put the Heroes franchise on the map, I think. See, the problem with this bridge is it's got the really big, the feet that stick out the bottom of the supports. Oh, feet. Goodness. I might just have to settle with this one. I wish there was a... I'm gonna keep looking for maps, see if there's a more narrow version. Looks pompous enough for wizards, right? Alright, so wood isn't something that they would likely use, but... Nope. Nope. Definitely not drawbridges. Harbor Bridge. Nope. It's another city bridge. Border, Humans Bridge. Elves. Oh, can't use that one. Definitely not that. Maybe these wooden bridges would work? Huh. I don't know. Hang on a second. I should really just keep this picture up, shouldn't I? They don't really use wooden bridges anywhere in any of these city pictures. I guess I could just kind of flub it. I'll use wooden bridges as a last resort, I think. Peasant district. Maybe. I don't know. I'll keep that in mind. Natural Caves Bridge. Ah, look at that. Perfect. Alright, let's try these two. Let's see what they look like. The 12 meter or 8 meter? Yeah, this is the 12 meter, you're right. These 8 meters are much smaller. I'm definitely going to use those. I can do rocks around the edge, but I don't know if I want it to be that much of a steep edge right from the start. I'll play with it. I might still have room for that to use the other bridges, but for now I think I'm going to use... Oh, this one's got a flat edge. That's perfect. Okay, I think I need to use this one. 100%. Oh, crap. Never mind. The flat edge has the large support. It's alright, we'll make it work somehow. It is much better when it's more narrow, though. Good stuff. Man, it's already 8 o'clock. Crazy. Can you not with the giant sports? Thanks, friendo. There we go. No. Time flies and you're building floating cities. Ha ha ha. Ah. Oh, goodness. The pain. I'm the one with the horrible puns. Well, you know, at least you own it. Good for you. Alright, I'm gonna use these for now. Decorative corpses on the sand. No, probably not. The city's constantly moving, so I doubt there would be much to show. So this looks kind of bare for a city. I realize it's not that impressive to start. But I do plan to have smaller standalone islands with maybe some rope bridges leading to them. We can kind of mix and match. Maybe make the main thoroughfare the big stone bridges, but yeah. I think for a main section, this is pretty good. Do this. Maybe a smaller one in the corner. And if you've seen my previous videos, you know, when an area starts, it doesn't look very impressive, but once you get towards decoration, it gets a lot more interesting and aesthetically pleasing. All right. So, I think I'm going to be doing buildings last. Yeah, I could probably hide the seam. I prefer to go for this look where it's kind of in the ground than this. I'll figure out how to do that at some other point. But for now, that looks pretty good. Let's get some rocks going. Cliff! Let's see what we've got available. That isn't the right kind of cliff. I'm gonna pull up a picture again. Just gonna leave it up. Actually, that's not far off. It is a pale reddish stone. I'll keep that one. And that would make it super easy for doing... Oh my god. Hi. What? Alright. Some of these are a bit ridiculous. That doesn't look very natural. You know, I don't really like that. Oh, that's lame. Nope. Don't like it. You had your chance, Rockwall. There's all sorts of really good cliff edges that are already built. I may have to make my own. Is there slate desert? Slate sand? Ah! What are these made up of? What are they called? Pillar and big. Slate pillar. Those are all pretty much the ones that are used here. Eroded. Grassy. Lava, no. There's a sand one. Okay. I may have to build my own cliffs here. Which isn't the worst thing. Just be a little bit more time consuming. These prefabs are very nice. But I think we may need to go with something a little more custom. I might use the prefabs for the total underside, because it doesn't make sense why there would be sand on the very underside of the island, but these ones on the edges might be a bit better. So I'm going to delete this. Take a drink of water quickly. Oh, that's where I was for a second. Okay, so let's get the edges of this built. I'm gonna do it in sections, and I will copy paste to make it a bit faster. So first of all, which ones do I like the most? I like these. Make you bigger. Huh, that's very interesting. You see that? The sand actually scales. totally different rock. Shifty eyes. Oh. Oh, wait, atmosphere panel. It's interesting how it's not the actual height of the rock, it's the height within its own plane. See, everything below this point gets sand on it, but everything above it doesn't. That's pretty interesting. Uh-oh. Calray has discovered secrets of Norden Tipwell. Tune in next time. Does he work for Larian? Were our suspicions correct? Oh, what the freaky flipping. Holy crap, rotating tool. Just calm down. That's a bit better. I would be somewhat nervous if someone from Larian was watching the stream. And flattered. But also slightly nervous. Not sure if serious. It's a secret. Well, glad to have you. Best modding behavior. Okay, I got this. The only other person from Larian I've spoken to is, his name was Kernster on the Discord. Nice fellow. Talk to them about potential tutorials and such. Such, that's the word I'm looking for. Haven't used this rock in a while. Jeff Nordy on Discord. I will remember that. I'm kind of sad that I don't have a whole lot more to teach people. I have so many areas I want to build. I'm definitely a builder at heart. That's all I did in Neverwinter Nights. I built servers, not servers, dungeons for some of the biggest role-playing servers for money. I'd get like 20, 30 bucks and they'd be like, here, build this undead themed dungeon for us. And I'd build it for them and it was just a blast. So I don't really have a whole lot of interest in digging into triggers and stuff right now. But it's getting to that point where people are learning how to do building, which is wonderful because they're watching my videos, but they're also wanting to dive into more advanced triggering and things like that, so I feel like more advanced triggers will have to be done by other people. More tutorials, not triggers. Deleted link. I guess Twitch has link deletion off by default. I don't believe I turned that on. Probably for the best, though. I don't know if I want that sticking out as much as it is. I'm going to go for something a little more subtle. Like so. All right. It's at these points in map building where you're looking at what you have and it's like, oh, this is garbage. I hate it. I'm starting over again. But try and keep going. I mean, if you honestly feel that way and it does look bad to you, definitely start over. But things are very plain. These buildings are just walls. These rocks are just kind of floating around the brim of this weird terrain that looks like a piece of paper. It will look better. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just keep trying, be creative, and see what comes out of it. Promise. I'm very excited to see if people end up using my areas in their campaigns. That would make me very happy. Super friends, go! I think I can get... See, I'm hesitant to make these rocks smaller, because if I do, they just get super sandy. I think it's okay. I'll play with it. Calorie. It took me probably a solid 12 hours to really get into the editor and be comfortable with what I was doing. If I could do this for a living, I would be one of the happiest people in the world. Ah, that would just be fantastic. I mean, I love my job now, but come on, get to build fantasy areas for a game? I don't think I want that lip hanging out as much as it is. That's not gonna work. Rotate this a bit more. That's also not gonna work. Maybe this would be better. Like so. I feel bad having so much rock sticking out. think I'm gonna tuck this against the bridge. I don't know, having constant time pressure to finish up map sounds pretty useful. Yeah, obviously with any professional environment there's a need to do things timely, but also at a high quality, but that's just something that comes with practice. When I first started writing manuals and editing documents when I was, you know, a junior tech writer, it would take me a very long time to get through that sort of thing, but now I can get, you know, half of a knowledge base done for an app in like, you know, a week maybe. It just comes with being comfortable and giving yourself the time to grow. I guess the entertainment industry is a bit different as well, especially with gaming, because gamers can be very... How do I put this politically? Fussy or needy, I suppose is the way to go. Like, there are customers for our products, but at the same time, it's a very different thing when you have content locusts, I like to call them, as far as players go. Like, you put out a good game and they finish it within a couple hours, it doesn't matter how much time you put into it, it's not going to make people happy. I think that should be pretty good. And yeah, from what I've seen of the Divinity 2 engines, the Divinity 2 areas, they're just mind-blowingly good. I'm trying to work my way up to a magnum opus area of sorts. This is definitely going to be a new challenge for me. But, yeah. Throws body parts all over the map. You know, when I was making the Necromancer village, that's pretty much what it was. Alright, I'm kind of happy with this. It's a little more rocky. Wait! I just had an idea. Hold on a second. I can't believe I didn't think of this. I might have just wasted a whole bunch of time. Oh, man. But you know, it happens. It happens. Because if you look at this... Let me pull this picture up again. The edges of these are... There are rocks, but it's not as rough as this is. Because this is definitely like, hey, we carved this big rock and put some buildings on it. These are a bit more refined. So here's my plan. Either A, I'm going to put all of these buildings on... See, let me pull this up again. Why did I just close it? I'm so so silly and dumb. There we go. This actually might make things a bit easier. See, can I zoom in on this? These structures here, how they're on this platform. Like, they have the base rock, and then they have the platform on top of it. A lot of these are like that. Base rock, platform, base rock, platform. So, what I'm either going to do is find a way to surround this with something like the bridge border, and then put the rocks and this cliff decoration I've done below it, or I'll just create a platform and do that. Yeah. I'm just going to experiment with a whole bunch of stuff here. Prison border, maybe. Dungeon. Ooh. Oh, that's a reference. Never mind. Castle wall. Bridge border. That's another one. Another one. What'd you say? City. City house platform. Interesting. Oh yeah, that could work. I'm looking for something a little lower to the ground to kind of outline the edge. I could just sink it into the rocks. I'll play with it. Let's see. So let's try. Save this. Put it on the back of a supersized lizard man pack animal. I just. Some of the creature designs were fantastic. I absolutely love it. I don't know what's going on right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on. Got this. What? What is the deal with this gap? Can I not? Why? Why? Why is this so weird? Okay, that's better. See, I like this. I really like this border. Can I rotate this? Cycle through, I guess is more accurate to say. Alright, this is a good one. What is... Oh, that's the bridge. This is teeny tiny one. Wizard architecture. Don't question it. This would work. As in just kind of sink it into the edge a bit. But it's not as good as this one. Oh, wait, here's the problem. I can't do this on one side. The bridge borders are specifically two sides. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Dang. Alright, alright. That's a bit better. Yay! It's one-sided. That's perfect. Does it have the lip? Oh, it does have the lip. Ah! Happy day! I'm just gonna see what this looks like here. Go away, pleb wall! I mean, if I wanted to be content and just kind of leave this the way it is, it would work. It would look like a floating island with some buildings built on top of it. But I think we can go a step further and really make this different. It's going to chew up a lot more time, but no. Sometimes it's worth it. That's not straight. That's straight. Oh no. Oh, what's happening? Oh god. Alright, I take it back. I don't want to. Why is this weird? Oh, what happened? If you want to rotate 90 degrees perfectly to fit the maps, when the rotation control, press Control 8? Control 9? That doesn't seem to be doing anything. I usually use snap to angle, which I forgot to turn on. Control 7. Oh, hello. Control 8. Control 9. Okay, well that kind of worked. Let's go back to snap to angle, shall we? Oh, I guess that aligns it so it makes snap to angle work perfectly. Yeah, that's good to know. Thank you. Now to figure out what happened to my border here. Why? Why are you so janky? Ah! I broke it. Yes, Mr. Norden is definitely getting a statue. Like it or not. Alright. See, I like that. The only problem with this is it forces me to have square-ish islands. But that's not the end of the world. Didn't get a whole lot done tonight's stream. Tomorrow I think I'm going to actually... No, not... Well, you won't see tomorrow because I'll be playing my first session of my GM mode campaign, but I'm going to start building a tavern because I realize I don't really have one, and that's something that players kind of do by default in a lot of campaigns. Oh, we're in a new town. Let's go to the tavern. Alright, guys. That will do. No first session stream, no, unfortunately. I wouldn't mind, but I don't think my players would be comfortable with it to start. Also, it'll be my first time actually playing with a GM mode, and I would rather not stream my bumbling. Like a little more preparation and that sort of thing. I don't know what to do about this sticky out bit. I guess that'll work. Yeah, why not? Sorry if I ever get quiet. I tend to get quiet-ish when I'm concentrating. I guess I didn't really look at these other ones, but since I'm already building with these, I'm just gonna stick with that. Unless this might be easier. Nope. Goodbye. Let's try this one. Oh, is this just innately one side? Aw. It is. Interesting. I think since the game's only been out for a couple weeks, Caloray, people are still kind of bumbling about and figuring out what to do. I think I like this lip a little bit more than just the flat wall. I'm gonna keep that there though, in case I want to use it on another island. Ah, here is the pickle. Making it work with the bridge. That is the question. So let's get this lined up as well as we can. Further fine-tuning comes later. Most of my campaigns last for a year or more. I don't have a set story in mind for what I'm going to be doing with my players this time around. I just kind of let them decide where they want to go and figure it out from there. You know, I don't think this is going to work how I want it to. Unfortunately. Can... What? Oh, there it is. Huh. I think I'm just gonna save a lot more time using this wall. It looks way easier to work with. What is this? 12M Humans Bridge. I'm just gonna copy this. Bridge A. That's Humans Bridge A. Order A, okay. 12M Humans Bridge A. Order. Whoa. What? Why? What, why? I don't understand. Ah. Did I choose the right one? Oh, it's B. Oh, I'm dumb. 12M, Humans Bridge, Order B. Bloop. Ah! There we go. Much better. Wait a tick. Oh, it does have a lip. Oh. Man. Good stuff. Now, here's the question. Ah, okay. So... I don't think the lip is going to work because the edge has this straight bit. Unless... Wait, what? Okay. So the plan is we do lip, 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 and then up to the edge we do that. Gotta be rounded. Oh, there it is. And then we can go delete that one. Really? I'm having so much trouble with this, man. I think that's what I want. Wait a minute. What? Why does that have a rounded corner without a sticky up bit, but this one does? Hang on a second. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Sleepo Calorie, thanks for hanging out. It was nice having you. I hope you have a good week. Man, I'm having the hardest time with this. Can't split this, can I? No. I really just don't want to faff with it anymore. I'm going to go with the one I know works. I'm just going to do the flat edge. And it's going to make life a lot easier. Nope, 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 nope. That's not the one I wanted. Oh, man. Did I just delete the whole thing? Wow. Does this have a regular lip? It does. Alright. I kind of like the redstone a bit more. I think I will go with that. It is slightly too long, unfortunately. There we go. Hello, Melena B. Welcome back. You're a little late tonight. I'm going to be wrapping up streaming in about 10 minutes. That's alright. Nice of you to pop in. I'm sorry. I generally only stream for about 2 hours. 3 times a week. Oh yes, I have completed some maps. This one isn't great. Evidence of my building skills. This is very out of my comfort zone, so it's going to take me a while to kind of get in my stride. But yeah, I would love to show you some stuff I've already made, since we're about to wrap up anyway. Oh, really, Milena? That's unfortunate. Yeah, whenever I do stream, it's on 7 p.m. Central, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Okay, let's shelf this city for a while. I will come back and tackle this when I'm in a different mindset. I think I'm going to make a tavern tomorrow, and next stream I'll work on some more interiors. Alright, let's load my most... I don't know, let's do one of my larger ones. I'm pretty happy with this area. It's not as amazing as it could have been, but I wanted to try a multi-layered city quarter. This is supposed to be a part of a larger city with multiple districts, and this is going to be the barracks and some higher-end houses. And oh, perfect timing. Good crash, good crash. All right, try that again. Thankfully, that doesn't happen too often. It's fine. I work in software development as well. It happens. We actually had our CEOs giving a presentation at a major event this year, and they were demoing a new feature of the app that we have, and it crashed in the middle of their demo. It was like, ah, come on, guys. All right. To show this in all of its glory, I think we should probably add some... I think a sunny day is nice. So this is a bit more basic. I was mostly playing with how I would tackle a larger area. I got a nice little marketplace here. I made a nice little weapon stand. I don't do NPCs in the editor. I like to do it in GM mode. Gives a little bit more control. Got some more market stands, place for, you know, armor and skill books and all sorts of stuff. I like to add points of interest in my map, things that would draw a player's attention, and there's going to be one here. It's just going to be a little outpost, a little awning, I guess, with some books and a cloaked figure kind of standing. Oriano1337. Hey, Caden, I've been having with houses confused questions. You definitely can. I will be wrapping up the stream shortly, but I will answer what I can. I'm currently demoing some older areas. So this is kind of the higher end of town. It's got some statues, little fountain, bigger houses. These are some of the interiors I want to make in separate instances. These are mostly empty. But over here, it's a little more worker class. The road kind of ends. It's more, you know, run down, but not... I don't want it to be like a slums. It's kind of a less well off. Some of these have interiors which are very simple. One of the other points of interest is this city was recently sieged, and they are currently rebuilding it. There's some rubble and some remnants of the wall, but something that came over the wall was this strange object that landed in this house, and everything is just perpetually on fire. No matter what they do, they're unable to put it out. So it's going to be guarded by some paladins, and you can follow the trajectory right into the house. That's a little interesting thing. There's some refugees. The entrance to the Mages Guild. Pretty basic. I wanted this to look overgrown because they spend all their time inside. A barracks. The nice interior. Some bunk beds. Test NPCs I'm still playing with. And this is the entrance to the Empress's Castle. Alright, first question by Oriano. When I make a roof, the flat of the roof is open, if you know what I mean. I made it based on the error stream. I'm not sure how exactly to create a flat part of the roof. Could you enlighten me? Absolutely. So, flat part of the roof. As you can see, I have some tiles here. What you do is you select your roof object. You go to the building layer and choose the resource that as closely matches the roof that you have. You do that in the resource manager. So you can just type in something like roof. Make sure you have the right folder selected. And there's all sorts of tiles and things to choose from. And then you assign it in the building layer. You make sure the type is set to roof. You adjust the height as needed. Like if I make this higher, it'll kind of pop out. Let's add 2.8. And then there we go. That's how you add flat parts of roofs. Oh, if it's not the right size, make sure you do inset. This determines the size of the object. You can build roofs separately, but this is a bit more time consuming. Too cool for tabletop. Welcome back, man. You're just in time for the stream to close very shortly. I'm demoing some areas I've already made for people who are interested. Uh-oh. Norton Tipwell knows too cool for tabletop. This is another area I made 2 days ago. Your buildings are walk-throughable. Ah. So, the way you get around that, I believe it'll work for these tents. Make sure it's not set to walk-through. If it's a building object, I believe it's got different options. 1 second. That's awesome. Too cool for tabletop. Send me a link so I can check it out. Oh, I didn't make my light probe distant. That's why it looks odd. There we go. Thank you. This area is supposed to be kind of an orc camp. It's going to be orcs and centaurs and goblins and all sorts of things. Let's get rid of this guy. And that guy. So players will start kind of out here in the desert. They'll wander in. There's some great pack animals. Place where the orcs train. They keep their prisoners. Some kind of ragtag supplies. I wanted to give it the feeling of it's temporary. They're very nomadic. They move around. So they're like, hey, look, we found water. And there's a very defensible area. Let's set up camp here. So the tents are very basic. All of the interiors have hammocks, which I attached to the posts, which are kind of cool. Let me answer Oriana's question here before I forget. So let's do... Human's Dungeon. Okay. So you have your house. And you click, you want to make sure... oh, I know what we need to do. Oriano, have you messed with the AI grid panel? Yes. As Norden says, this will generate a lot of collision on the map. Like if I show you here, it shows you all the red is where players can't go or shoot through. They count as solid objects. This will determine if people can move through objects or not. So when you're done with your map, do a seed fill and a full generate. It'll kind of do the basics for you, and then you can go in and paint as you need to. Like if I don't want players to be able to go here, I can block this. If I want to allow them, I can, edit that sort of thing. So the AI grid panel is what you want to play with. Alright, I'm going to show off a couple more areas and answer a few more questions, and then that will be it. Also ruins here, because why not? Interesting ruins. New level. Let's do the Elven Village. I'm not sure I understand your question, Ariano. How do I generate more start points and add starting AI to them? What do you mean by starting AI? Do you mean the players? Or NPC encounters? Basically, my point starts with one test dummy, and I want to know how to add more. Yes, it's in the root template. There's an object called start point, and you can add those to your map. I believe that's all you need to do. I haven't really messed with it as much. All my maps start with the 4 NPCs. I haven't really had to fiddle with that too much. This area is supposed to be a small elven outpost. This ramp is going to be guarded by an NPC, so players won't be able to go to the rest of the city, which is up in the trees. I wanted the elves to have some privacy in their little lodging, so I added some curtains, which kind of makes sense for the Sylvan elves. There's a little altar here for druidic rituals. You are welcome. Sorry, I couldn't be more specific with your last question. But yeah, the major point of interest on this map is the little elven graveyard over here. Let me change the... I don't know, let's just do... None of this is helping. The major point of interest here is the totem, which is infused with the goddess of earth, and the elven mummified, bodies that are all facing the same direction. And players who aren't used to the elven culture in this setting are going to be like, what's going on over there? They can do a little quest and so on and so forth. I love the way this little brook river came up and made me very happy. I look forward to seeing you again, Oriana. Thanks for stopping by. This one's a little more basic. Not super impressed with it. I mean, I'm happy with it, but I could definitely do better next time. Getting used to the elven pieces was odd, but after a while, I kind of got the hang of it. Alright, a couple more. Let's show one of my favorites. This one definitely needs atmosphere to make it a bit more interesting. Where is the desert? One of these desert ones is perfect. Aha, so... Oh, I can give the link for the Discord so it doesn't get chewed up. Let me just grab a link here. There you go. That should work. So this village is going to be full of necromancers and undead. But the necromancers in this universe aren't exactly evil, they're just kind of gray. So the whole point of this place is to kind of give them a taste of the culture of Haresh, which is where the necromancers are from. It's very dark. I need to add lights to some of the interiors here. I'll go back to the regular lighting. This is the only interior that's fully decorated. Gonna be kind of a shop of sorts, but the necromancers are very... They don't go for aesthetics much, so it's very flat, very basic. These roofs are actually platforms that I made big. They were the only thing that kind of matched what I was going for. This little stall out here, it's gonna have a shop NPC, some sarcophagi, nice pillar in the center. Let's go back to the lighting. Yes! Well, I'm thinking of like, okay, you've got a culture of people who don't like flashy things, they're very basic, and, you know, they live in the desert, so the lower the structures, the cooler they are. So I'm like, well, I'll just use platforms, and it came out really, really well. This is the only one that has an actual roof, but it's like a storage thing, so that's alright. Very subtle amounts of bones. I wanted to kind of add the flavor, like, hey, this is actually a necromancer village. So some of the terrain is a bit peppered with that. So one thing I'm really excited about, which I have to show you guys. So this is a very deep hole, as you can see. It's kind of charred at the bottom. I didn't want to do an actual cave entrance. I wanted it to be a little more mysterious. So the starting point where my players are actually going to begin, I will load the level, is... where is it? The Demon Prison. So the players are going to start the campaign underground, in prison, guarded by demons. This one also needs the lava interior. I think it's A, no, B, no, B, no. Where's the other lava one? This one. So, players are going to start in here, in these cages. There's a ritual table with blood on it, a knife, which is actually equipable, so they can use it to fight off the very weak guard that's going to be here. And this room is all they're going to see. So there's torture chairs, there's piles of bodies for them to search, a couple extra NPCs are going to be here for them to talk to, maybe take a risk in trying to break out. And then they'll step out of the hallway and be like, huh, that's a lot of fire, and there's a blood fountain. I'll step out to the bridge, and it's just this river of lava, and this is essentially hell in this universe. It's Sheog. It's far underground. It's where the demons live. It's this mishmash of volcanic, rocky underground and structure. So I wanted it to be kind of a Silent Hill feeling. This room's going to have a whole bunch of loot and guards. This is going to be kind of the entrance to this area, and this cave entrance leads up to that hole in the previous area. So when they escape, step out into a metal album cover. Exactly. So when the players escape, they're going to step out into the desert and be right outside this necromancer village, who are used to fighting off demons, and they have to try and convince the necromancers, like, hey, we just escaped, please let us enter your town. So yeah, let's, this one took me maybe 3 hours to make. I don't know why it was so fast. I just had this idea for what I wanted, and everything just came out perfectly. And if they're, not super smart, they're gonna try and go further into hell through that door. It's just kind of how to end the campaign. Go through that door. Yeah, so that's that area. I think there's only one more to show you. I have this mod up. I'm trying to put the areas I make as mods for people to download. It's a little more time consuming. The char effect, when you are in the editor, you can demo atmospheres. There's a button here, the first one in the tools section, called Work Atmosphere Panel. It shows this panel here. And if you choose the second option, you can choose which atmosphere you like. 43 hours. Yeah, the Empire Town one took me almost 3 days. It's a lot of attention to detail in a very large space. So it's very, very different. I asked my players if they would prefer larger, more expansive areas or smaller, diverse areas, and they all unanimously said smaller. This is the last area. It's just a basic desert area. Let's get some proper lighting, shall we? Coast, maybe? That's very bright. That's also very bright. Holy cow. That'll do. Alright, so players start here. It's got a very small waterfall with a little brook, so it's kind of an oasis. Get a nice detailed marketplace. Best place to buy magic and weapons and that sort of thing. I don't have a light probe on this map. That's why the shadows are so dark. This is going to have a riddle to get inside, and once they get in, it's going to be an old wizard's tower of sorts. Got a nice bed and kind of lots of books. I figured it's something that a wizard would have. This one also has an interior. It's more of a basic home. I spend a lot of time shifting decorations like books, candles. Yeah, I do the same thing. When I'm finishing up a map, I'm like, oh, this basket is in the wrong place. Scooch. Perfect. It's, at some point you just have to kind of be happy with what you have. Yeah, a very small area. The point of interest of this map is as the players come in, they're going to see, oh, it's a big market, there's going to be people wandering around. Good stuff. All sorts of things to look over here, but to the left, there's this little ruin with a small camp. It's got kind of nothing. Kind of some upturned tables half in the sand for barricades. And there's going to be, I don't know, maybe a goblin or someone, an undead necromancer or something, kind of cast off from the rest of the outpost, and he's going to have some interesting tidbits. Yeah, that's most of what I've done so far. Eventually, I want to finish the floating city. I want to make an inn tomorrow. I need to do a lot more NPC work. I have some wandering NPCs that, as a GM, I want to be able to put people down and have them just start walking around. It'll just, you know, add some life to these areas. Because when you walk into a place and there's just a bunch of static NPCs, it's like, oh, alright, I guess I'll go talk to them. But when there's people walking around, it makes it feel like they've got their routines and all that stuff. So, a lot more NPCs to make. Thank you. That's, I appreciate the compliment. I've got pretty much all the demons done. I have a lot of the necromancers ready. A lot of the elves. It's mostly just kind of busy, tedious work. I need to do civilians, I need to do guards, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's all I have so far. I think that's where we're going to end the stream tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks Tuku for tabletop, I appreciate it. How do you create and store custom creatures like that? Alright, last tutorial and then I'm closing the stream. I already answered this question, but... So, very quick, I won't go into too much detail. Let's say... you may share a screenshot of a brewery I made. You absolutely may. Let me... I don't know if I can turn off... Show messages caught by auto mod. I'll do that. So I may not be able... Other people may not be able to see your link, but you can PM us. Alright, so custom NPC. Find a base you want. Ambush Demon Ranger. Place the NPC. Boom. edit them how you want. You can edit their visual, you know, parts of the way they look and all that sort of thing. You can change their skills, you can change their stats, you can change their equipment, all that sort of stuff. When you're done and you're happy with what you have placed, right click, export to root template. Make sure it has a unique name, so this will be Poopy McGee. And then same thing here. Paste, and then create. And that's how you create custom NPCs. Easy peasy. I can't see delete. Can I turn off the... I don't know. I will turn off auto moderator next time. I think the channel is small enough that I can, you know, pay attention to that sort of thing. But that's it for tonight, guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful couple days. I'll be streaming again on Wednesday. So for tomorrow, I hope everyone has a good one, and I will catch you around.